So I'm going to do a video of how to use um, ReadyPilot to do a mock interview, right? So I've already created an interview, an application here. This video is not about creating application, but I'm just gonna show you how to. So I've created an application which is this role with OpenAI, which is a front-end engineer. So I want to practice um for this role. So say for example, I'm applying for a front-end engineer role at OpenAI. This is the job description. So this is the actual job. This is job description, right? So you can yeah. So I'm gonna just do a 5 minutes interview, and I'm going to say it's technical interview. 5 minutes technical, and I'm a mid-level engineer. So you can add more information, like for example, the career websites. So the careers URL is all the information and they're all optional, but adding this, because then the AI would go to the careers page, take note of their values, the information, so that will be used in scoring your performance, right? So we have all of this filled in. So 5 minutes test interview. Yep. So let's go. So now, yeah, what is happening right now is that the AI is gathering all the information you've given it to build your interviewer's persona, right? So, maybe also like some questions and things like that. So it's going to come up with something for your interview. So your interviewer, or should I say my interviewer, is Jordan Thompson, right? Is a front end architecture, and it works as a front end architecture identity systems at OpenAI. And yeah, so I'm going to select my microphone and test my speaker. So yeah, this is my interviewer, and let's go.
Hi, thank you for joining. I'm Jordan Thompson, and I'll be conducting this technical deep dive interview. We're focusing on front end engineering with an emphasis on identity systems. I'll ask you about core concepts, present some scenarios, and dig into your problem solving approach. Let's dive right in. First question. Can you explain how OAuth 2.0 differs from OpenRD Connect and what each is typically used for?
Yeah, so OAuth um is an authentication technology that helps with
I'll
authentication.
need a bit more detail from you. Could you walk me through exactly how OAuth 2.0 works and then how OpenID Connect adds functionality on top?
Yeah, sure. So OAuth is you integrate it with another service, and
Let me jump in to focus the question. OAuth 2.0 is primarily for authorization, delegating limited access to resources. OpenID Connect builds on top of OAuth 2.0 and adds authentication, providing identity information. Can you now explain the specific flows involved in OpenID Connect and how they extend OAuth 2.0?
yeah. Actually, no. I have no idea about OAuth and OpenID. So please ask me a different question.
Understood. Let's pivot. How does a single sign on system typically integrate with a front end application, and what role does the front end play in that authentication flow?
Okay. So the front end starts the authentication journey. So usually a user using a single sign-on authentication would um get an authorization from the third party provider, and which will then give an access key back to the front end. The front end then takes this access key to their backend to verify it is correct.
Okay, you're describing the general flow. Let's dig deeper. What specific data does the front end handle during SSO, and how does it securely store or transmit tokens?
It uses HTTPS for um the overflow to make sure it is secure.
I see. So you're mentioning HTTPS for secure transport. What about storing tokens? How would you handle storing tokens securely in the front end? And what are the trade offs between local storage, session storage, and cookies?
Um, I would use session storage, and then make sure that works and the keys are safely secured.
Got it. Now, what's a potential security risk if tokens are stored in session storage versus using an HTTP only cookie? And how would you mitigate that risk?
Um, Using an HTTP only cookie, raises the risk of a middleman attack and someone intercepting the network request and stealing the user's tokens.
Actually, that's more related to transport security. I'm asking about front end attacks like cross site scripting. How would storing tokens in session storage expose them to that risk? And how would an HTTP only cookie mitigate it?
Um, I mean, it will try its best and to try and keep the user safe.
HTTP only cookies help because they're not accessible by JavaScript, reducing exposure to cross site scripting. Now, we're near the end. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap up?
Yeah. So, what would you say is a what would you say is the next steps in this application?
The next steps typically involve reviewing this interview along with others, and then the team will reach out with feedback or next rounds. We'll be in touch soon.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Guys, if that was my real interview, I'm absolutely cooked. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really. Uh, oh my god, I feel so ashamed of myself right now. But I mean, to be fair, I don't have experience with identity and security stuff, set up like that. But I mean, after this interview, I know that I'm cooked. If this was my real interview, and so let's wait for my performance results. And I mean, I'm sure I'm cooked because I don't think I got any question right. But yeah, this is Ready Pilot, and it helps you prepare for interviews. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like cooked. So I got 26.25 out of 100, and I've got a 12% pass probability. To be honest, 12 is generous. I think I got zero, right? Because yeah, you know, yeah. Anyway, this is Ready Pilot, and if you're preparing for interviews or you have interviews coming up, you can use Ready Pilot to prepare for your interviews, to know if you're cooked or if you're ready. In my case, I know I'm cooked. So let's see the feedback. Let's just glance through. Relevance 3100. What is the potential security risk if tokens are stored? Blah blah. This was my answer. I'm supposed to discuss this issue completely off topic. Yeah, because I don't know the answer. Can you explain this again? Issue off topic. Yeah, again, because I didn't know the answer. Yeah, incomplete, unclear. you know, structure, yeah, unstructured. Confidence, yeah, I mean, obviously, when you don't see incorrect and uncertain. Technical depths, candidate demonstrated limited technical depth, particularly in understanding and explaining identity systems and security practices. Yeah, again, I don't know, it's consultants, candidates' responses were often repetitive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we can see results. Now, I mean, to be honest, there are absolutely no strengths in this interview, but you have to come up with something, so you don't feel too bad, I guess. I was able to engage with the questions. Obviously, in an interview, you're supposed to engage with the questions. Ask about next steps and recognize the need for security. I mean, yeah, this is just really struggling, squeezing out positives out of, yeah. So areas to improve. Yeah, obviously, I need to. I mean, if I was preparing for this interview with OpenAI, then obviously I need to, you know, thank God I'm not. I mean, this is just a test. Um, I've got a prep pack. So my prep pack is, yeah. So the questions I was asked and what a good answer would be. So, can you OAuth is a form of authorization, allowing to participate with existing blah blah blah. Yeah. So all the questions that I was asked, this answers to them, right? And it's given me improvement plan. So understanding of OAuth an open ID. So obviously these are things I need to do to get better, right? And improve communication clarity. So these are practice questions that I can, use to improve myself and focus area for next session. So yeah, my next session, my next practice interview, I could dive deep into this, right? So yeah, this is my prep pack, something to help me improve. And I can also replay my interview. So yeah. So you get a full replay. So both transcripts and the audio.
Hi, thank you for joining. I'm Jordan Thompson.
Yeah. So you get a full and everything you said. So you can have a listen again. So give a feedback. I'm gonna say I mean the interview itself, the interviewer was good, to be honest. If this was my interviewer in real life, I mean it was good because it gave me time to try and answer the question. And when it realized that I was just like blowing it, it's sort of like told me, okay, yeah, you don't know it, this is the answer. I'm gonna say general feedback. Good interviewer, right? So I'm gonna submit. Um, yeah, something's wrong. So yeah, that's it. And that's Ready Pilots. So if you have interviews coming up or you're just practicing for your interview, you're just practicing or trying to improve your interviewing skills, this is what you need. And yeah, so cheers. Bye.